You weren't always a follower of Jesus though. Like even
No.
though you were raised by Christian parents, you had to make the decision for yourself.
Correct.
What was it that was the turning point for you?
Yeah, so I was molested when I was 8 years old by a neighbor that lived across the street from me. And I carried that pain into my teenage years. At the age of 12, I was exposed to pornography. And at 19, it was just controlling me, right? And so my mom actually caught me looking at porn. Awkward!
Yeah.
But that night was like the night everything changed, because I was able to tell her what the root of the issue was and not just deal with the fruit. Any addiction is fruit. It's not the root. Any addiction that somebody is involved in is covering up something that they don't want to address or it's too painful to address. So I was able to go to my mom and tell her, this is what happened to me. And come to find out, happened to my little brother. Wow. My mom also went through that when she was 6. My dad went through that when he was 5. So in this one night that should have been awkward and embarrassing, like God's love and his light kind of brightened up everybody's dark pain. And 6 months after that is when I gave my life to Christ. Wow. So there was a power and a correlation between being able to confess something and then that allowing your heart to be open enough to receive something. So secrets can kill you.
That's right. So did your, like that is a lot to have gone through individually and then as a family.
Yeah.
Had you ever spoken to them about any of that before or
Never.
their experience with you? Never?
Never.
Wow.
Never. And they had never shared it with each other.
Wow.
So this one night, like all of this comes out. I know that that was the catalyst for my heart being open to receive Christ.
And a catalyst for them too. Like that
absolutely.
became a real breakthrough moment.
Yeah, it was for the whole family.
From that moment then, practically, how did you get out of the cycle of addiction and brokenness that a lot of that would have brought into your life?
Yeah, so lots and lots of therapy, right? So altar calls are great, but the best altar calls open up a can of worms, right? That's what they do, right? Like you listen to the message and you're like, that's me, that's me, the whole sermon is me.
Yeah.
Somebody told him it was me. Right. So you're crying, and then you go to the front. You're like, it's all this. Then somebody prays for you, right? And then it's like prophetic, and they speak something to you, and it's like talking about your future, and you believe it. But then like you got this can of worms that's open, and you're still looking at it like, who's gonna? Is there anybody?
Yeah.
Somebody gonna? And you need help from your church. You need counsel. You need therapy, right? I think everybody on earth needs 2 things: a good masseuse and a good therapist.
Probably in that order?
In that order.
That would be great.
A masseuse.
Yeah.
You need somebody to get in touch with your body in ways that you can't get in touch with it yourself. And then after that, you're like relaxed and you're open and you can go, okay, here's what happened when I was 7.
Yeah.
I stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Right? Those 2 things together are like powerful things.
You're going through those things though and unpacking that can of worms at the same time as you're building a kind of, I hesitate to use the word profile, but you're starting to become more of a preacher that people would recognize in your own church and then more broadly. While you're working that out, how do you deal with being somebody that people are admiring and looking up to and being taught from while also dealing with that history and everything, which everybody has their brokenness.
Right, absolutely.
But you're there doing it in such a
exposed
way.
Yeah, very exposed way. So the true mark of apostolic authority is authenticity and transparency, right? So 2 things that Jesus displayed the most, right? He shows himself glorious on the Mount of Transfiguration. Then he shows his goriest in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? But he had people with him both sides. When he gets up from the grave and is resurrected, he's not shy about letting people put their finger in his wrist, not shy about letting people put their whole hand in his side. There's authenticity and there's transparency there. So never was there a time in the 23 years of ministry that I hid the fact that I am on a road to recovery, that I am an addict, right? You have to embrace the negative reality. I am a child of God. I have been made righteous positionally by him, but freedom is a work in progress, right? My righteousness is something Christ paid for. There's nothing I can do about that, but I can contribute to freedom. I can do the hard work. I can dig into those painful bits of my past and go, need to get that up and out so that I can be free and therefore others can be